Yes, when we talk about stress, we are simply talking about the natural human body, okay,
Okay.
responding to some sort of challenges or pressure. Of course, when we wake up in the morning, there's always something to do. And in the course of that thing you do, you definitely would actually encounter some sort of tiredness, weakness, and all that. So your body would have to respond to that. How do you then manage your what? Stress? We can manage stress when we're able to manage our time.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
You cannot really manage stress without managing your time,
Okay.
because everything you do, it's actually in time. And so for you to be able to manage the stress, or for your body to be able to respond positively to whatever challenges or pressures you encounter in the course of the day, you should be able to manage time.
Okay.
Apportion your time to whatever activities or whatever tasks that you are set. In fact, these two are actually interconnected.
Okay.
I don't know whether I should go ahead to talking
Yes,
about
please
that.
tell us
Yes.
how the two are interconnected.
Yes, they are actually interconnected, because when you don't manage your time properly, or poor time management would actually cause some sort of overload of task. For instance, we are students. Sometimes we always say that, okay, me I'll wait when it is the last minute for an exam or a quiz, then we begin to pile up the notes or the slides and all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, when the day it's come for us to take the text and then we feel like we are not so much prepared, then we'll be running helter-skelter, picking the slides from here and trying to combine everything. You understand? When it happens like that, we'll put a lot of pressure on ourselves. You understand?
Okay.
But good time management would help you to meet deadlines. You understand? For instance, you're given an assignment to do and then submit. And then you are able to control, plan very well about how you're going to go about the assignment. I'm sure you'll be able to work everything within the time and submit it on time. You all here are witness sometimes how we'll go after you guys, submit your assignment. People are not ready to submit simply because they didn't plan their time well.
Sure.
But if you plan your time well, then you would be able to organize the materials needed for this particular assignment and you submit it on time.
That's true.
And so you avoid wastage and other things.
Okay, thank you very much. So, time management is managing our time. So, if I should understand, when we manage our time, it helps us to reduce stress.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Nicholas. Okay, so please, what are some common time management challenges that lead to stress management?
Okay, there are many.
Kindly give
There
us
are
a few.
many. For instance, we talk about procrastination. Yes, I know we are familiar with that particular term.
Sure.
Students or people would always like to procrastinate. Oh, let me do this thing today. No, maybe in the next minute or maybe tomorrow. Meanwhile, they have the time to do it. But what sometimes leads to procrastination is poor prioritization.
Okay.
You understand? You don't really put some sense of urgency to certain things that are important, but rather you pay close attention to certain things that are not really important. You prioritize the things that are not so much of importance.
Okay.
You understand? So when that happens, definitely you would not be able to manage your time properly. You understand? And then in the course you become actually stressed out because of the activities you are actually involved to do. And we can also talk about lack of planning. You understand?
Okay.
Yes, we have to plan. It's always said that when you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Of course, I believe in that too. And sometimes before you even wake up as a student, not even just as a student, but a normal human being, you should have some sort of plans against tomorrow.
Sure.
But you can't just go to bed, wake up, and then you are proceeding to undertake the activities of the day. You have to plan. And so when you plan well, you are able to beat time and then be able to go right. And then we also talk about overcommitment.
Okay.
Some of us we are actually committed to so many responsibilities. Yes. I was once a victim during my high school time. I was there's a whole lot of leadership responsibilities, and so making time for other things, it wasn't actually balanced.
Sure.
So when you're overcommitted, you would end up not being able to get whatever you actually intend to get, or it becomes a challenge, let me just put it that way. And so you may end up building stress for yourselves and all that.
Okay.
Yes. And then the last one I'll just mention is the lack of breaks. So you have a lot to do, and then our system functions once sometimes we require some rest, right? It functions well, but we would always want to continue. You can imagine working from 6 to 6 or sitting before your slides and reading for 3 hours. Some could even go as far as 4 hours. And at the end of the day, you are not actually making any input. That's frankly speaking, because your brain sometimes becomes so tired that you have to require some rest to continue. But once you say, oh, you want to just capture everything, because from here I'm going to do this and that, and so lack of breaks too is another challenge.
All right. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So time management leads to stress management, and some of the challenges are overcommitment and poor planning. So if we don't plan our schedules well, it can lead to stress management. And if I should understand stress management as individuals, I think it has some impact on our lives as individuals, because being stressed about your work, sometimes it gives you a work-life balance, which is somehow. So please, can you tell us some impact of poor time management? If you are not able to manage our time properly, what are some impacts it can have on our physical self and mental well-being as individuals?
Okay, that's great. So in fact, poor time management of course will lead to stress.
Okay.
And then we have a lot of impacts on our physical and also our mental aspect. Let's look at the physical aspect. Of course, fatigue is one. You understand? If you're not able to manage your time well, you would always think that probably before you can make input, before you can meet your targets, you have to do everything. So you have to be committed to doing a whole lot of things to be able to catch up. And because of that, you're human beings. You would have to, you grow weak, you go tired. Yes. And the other thing is also sleeplessness. Like, you will not actually have enough time to sleep. You understand? Because you will say, oh, let me do this thing, maybe the next 1 hour or 2 I'll rest. By the time you are actually done with that, another thing is also, and that is as a result of poor planning. If you're not able to plan well, then this would actually be your say. So that is that aspect of the physical, and also probably talking about diet. If you don't actually plan well, you will not be able to even prepare anything like good food, right? Because me, for instance, let me use myself. So this day I was so busy, I got myself so busy, and then I've not actually made anything for myself, you understand? So if this should continue for, let's say, even weeks, you could imagine how you even look. Because poor diet, you would not be able to have that kind of energy to continue to function. And talking about the mental aspect too, we can make mention of frustration. For instance, you are actually given a task, you understand, and because you're not able to apportion the time to get it done, probably when the deadline is nearing, you would actually be frustrated because you are not done and you don't even know the outcome of the results, you understand. So you become frustrated, and anxiety too. You'll be worried because you are not able to meet a certain targets, you understand, or deadlines to be specific. You understand? So these are some of the physical and then the mental, consequences of poor time management.
Okay.
And as a result of the stress. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So poor time management has a great impact on our physical and mental well-being, which include fatigue. Please, what else did you make mention of?
Yes, body weakness,
and even poor diet.
Lack of sleep too.
Poor diet, lack of sleep, because when the whole day you are being busy, by the time you get to your hostel, you even get time to cook for yourself.
Exactly.
The moment you get to your room, you just lie down and you are gone. You can't get a better diet to eat. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nicholas.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Sir Nicholas, please kindly enlighten us on some distractions that impede our time management efforts and how we can overcome them, mostly as students.
Okay, yeah, so it's important. Sometimes, let me use myself for instance, right?
Okay.
Social media distractions.
Sure.
In fact, I used not to be on TikTok. So one day, I just said, let me try this. So I downloaded the app in the morning, and could you imagine that I stayed on it for almost 2-3 hours?
I swear.
When I got up, I was like, no, is that how this particular app is? I deleted it.
Oh.
But I realized that, when I went first, I saw some sort of updates on football, and I'm a proud fan of Manchester United.
Oh, so I see.
Yes, I actually got some news, and then I followed. And I started, so I have to download the app again. But when I did it, I was like, no, it's not all the time I'm going to be following these updates and all that. You understand? So I have to strategize my time. You understand? So social media is indeed a distraction. And aside that, if you're not able to plan very well, you end your day not even knowing what you've done and not even seeing anything like achievement or meeting of targets.
Yes.
So even if you're going to social media as a student, you should be able to know that within this particular time, or you should even apportion time to yourself. Okay, if I go, I have to spend, let's say, some 30 minutes. But sometimes it's so addictive. If you're not actually disciplined, you won't be able to follow that.
Yes.
And also talking about phones, notifications, messages, WhatsApp and all that, you understand? Sometimes as a student, you're doing your assignment, you understand, all of a sudden pain, and you receive a notification, you would actually be compelled to check who sent the message and what it's about. And by the time you even realize, you are still on what you were supposed to do within just some few minutes of time, you understand? So these are some of the distractions that we as students, we do actually encounter as far as poor time management is concerned.
Okay.
Yes. And so let me just add the last one. Let's say unnecessary meetings too. Yes, you unnecessary meetings with colleagues. There are some meetings that are not actually helpful. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're not careful, you actually end your day meeting almost every friend of yours. It's not all the time that a friend will call, oh, Charlie, let's go here. But you know that you have scheduled your time to rest at that particular moment to be able to regain some energy to work or to do something. But the friend will call you, you go and come back. Before you realize another call is coming in, inviting you to join. So we have to know how to strategize when it comes to meetings and other things, so that we'll be able to save time for most important things in our lives.
Okay. Thank you very much. So no doubt, I can say social media is a great distraction. Social media. We as students, we spend a lot of time on our phone. Someone cannot even stay a minute without his or her phone. But when we take our books, we start to feel dizzy. But we can be on our phone, TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp. That's very true. So please, let's minimize the rate at which we use our phones to reduce stress. So we have some messages from our viewers. Please, let's read them out. This is coming from Tina Inshi. She says, in love with the shoe. Thank you, Tina. This is from Hoto John. He says, glory I shall see. Amen. Christiana says, hi. Hello to you. This is coming from Pomba Ilasamba Emmanuel. He says, kudos, guys. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. This is from Ekudugu Sumaila Facial. He says, great job there to the Science Focus host and our great guest speaker. Science Focus, we are really relating science to the society. I salute the entire ACES family and our management as well as our lecturers. Thank you, His Excellency. This is from Akpene Roots. She says, integrating to recreate. That's ACES for you. This is coming from Mommy's boy Kweku. He gave us a love emoji. Thank you. So we have a question from someone here. Mr. Guest, please be ready. He says, how do I manage my time if all things seems important? And apart from the fact that the time management leads to stress management, what other benefits do time management have? Okay, so we'll answer your question for you. This is from Mommy's boy Kweku. He says, thank you, ACES. Okay, thank you. That's our organizer. This is coming from Isaac Habluba. ACES to the world, integrating to recreate. Thank you, Honorable Secretary. So, as we continue, please, I'll read out your question to you again. Okay. Mr. Hotojon says, how do I manage my time? I think we'll come to that. How do I manage my time if all things seems important? And apart from the fact that the time management leads to stress management, what other benefits do time management have? All right, Mr. John, we'll answer your question for you. So coming to his question, going to the next point, as students, we know we have a lot. From lectures, we go to our hostel, sometimes we go to other meetings, we meet this, we meet this. So as students, with our daily routines, I think there should be some ways for us to manage our time, because we have a lot. The 24 hours in a day, we have a lot to do within those hours. So please, can you give us some self-care practices that we students can use to manage our time, which can lead to reducing stress as students?
Okay, so thank you. Yes, of course, as students, we need to practice some healthcare, and when we do that, it will actually help us, right? One of them I will talk about is regular or frequent exercising.
Exercise.
Yes.
We don't like to exercise.
But for you to be able to stay focused, your brain will need to continue to function properly, right?
Okay.
You have to constantly or frequently exercise. But here's the case: sometimes people feel like it's indeed a burden or something of stress to go for jogging, go for aerobics. Sometimes even I would normally hear the department organize aerobics and all that, but people don't actually show up.
Yeah.
But it is one of the healthcare activities that when we undertake them, we are able to reduce tension and also improve our level of focus. And also we can talk about healthy eating habits.
Okay.
You understand? We have to actually prepare good food.
That's true.
Because we don't actually make time for those things. Charlie, everything goes.
Balanced diet.
Some of us, we do depend so much on the outside food.
Yeah.
You understand? Yes. And then we know by the time we realize, some of us are falling sick and then, losing focus and then all that. We also have to plan to have adequate sleep. You understand? Yes, we have to sleep. Our body, we are all human beings. And it's a system that is working. For instance, if you have a vehicle, let's say if you buy a car today, in 20 years' time, it will not actually function like that until you're able to maintain it.
Sure,
you have to actually do some sort of proper maintenance. So our maintenance here is to have enough sleep and rest, so that our body would regain strength or energy to be able to function.
Okay.
So these are some of the things or the healthcare activities that we can actually adopt as students as far as healthy living is actually concerned. And we also probably would have to make time for our hobbies. What you like best, make time for it. It's not all the time that you have to be sitting with the books. You understand? Make time for it. Some of us, we actually lost a lot during our undergrad time. We never actually had time for most things, but when we're done, we realized that no, it was actually important for us to make time for our hobbies. And then yes, if you enjoy playing ball, make time for it. It's even part of the exercise. If you enjoy watching ball, you do that. So once you're doing that, we are actually kind of releasing stress and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas. So Mr. John, please, your question is answered. If you want to manage your time effectively, please exercise regularly, go for joggings, watch football and do a lot. Eat a balanced diet. Stop eating the gobe, please. Eat a balanced diet. So that answers your question, Mr. John. So we have some messages here. This one is coming from Christiana. She says, integrating to recreate. Interesting. Thank you, Christiana. This is coming from Madam Ruth Akpene. She says, these days, most students go through a lot of problems, being it from home and all that, where some sort of things which tends to affect them academically. How can such students marry their problems with academics? This is coming from Madam Ruth. So her question is, most students are going through a lot. Yeah, it can be family or other things. So how do they balance this which won't affect them academically? That's her question. And this is also coming from Francis Enim. He says, very good program, keep it up. Thank you. This is coming from Mommy's Boy Kweku. He says, Mr. Nicholas, Manchester United is winning, so smile. Okay, so Sir Nicholas, please, how do we answer Madam Ruth's question? Having other problems and relating it to academics, please, how do they manage this, which will not affect them?
Okay, thank you, Madam Ruth, for your question. So here we can talk about your priorities.
Okay.
I know some problems. Of course, as long as we are human beings, we will definitely encounter problems, whether emotionally, academically, family life, and all that. You understand? But of course, we have to set some sort of goals for ourselves and know which one to actually manage and which one to put a hold to. You understand? You see, if you fail to actually manage all these things around you, definitely you will not be able to meet targets.
Okay.
Because they'll be pulling you from one side to the other, and then at the end of the day, you would actually get stuck. You understand?
Sure.
So family issues, sometimes me for instance, I told myself that when I'm going to write an exams and then I see a family member calling, I won't pick it. You understand? Yes, of course, sometimes the news they're actually bringing to you would actually stand to, it could even be bad news, right? At the end of the day, you are broken down, you lose focus, and you're able to concentrate to do whatever you're supposed to do. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So as a student, you should know that, of course, you would have maybe problems or maybe issues coming outside your academic life and all that. But it is actually expedient for you to, know how to handle them. You understand?
Okay.
And we don't forget that we're talking about even time management. You understand? So of course you are actually in the academic environment, and whatever you should be doing is to solely focusing on what your academics, what you do to be able to achieve your target for the semester and all that. You understand?
Okay.
But yes, still, when the emotional challenges come, you should have a way to actually neutralize them, because if you don't neutralize them, definitely they will end up actually distracting you, and then you may not be able to meet any target you've set for the semester.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what I can say for now.
Okay.
Madam Ruth, thank you.
Thank you. So, Madam Ruth, I think your question is answered. So, because of our time, we take the last question, then we go. So, Mr. Nicholas, like you said, social media is a major distraction to students.
Sure.
So, as students, this social media, we are addicted to it. So, Asemo. So, please, can you give us some strategies that we students can use to manage our social media?
Okay.
Because,
okay. Thank you. So, it depends. But let me just say this. I think it should be the basic one, the basic strategy. For instance, you wake up in the morning. Some of us, when we wake up in the morning,
the first thing is our phone.
The first thing is the phone. But everything will start from you disciplining yourself. You understand?
Okay.
Yes, staying disciplined to be able to manage your time properly. So you actually sit down and resolve that, no, when I wake up in the morning, either you are praying, thanking God, and afterward you are actually looking at your to-do list. What are you actually plan to do today? You understand? You have to get something like to-do list.
Okay.
Sure.
You see, you don't just wake up in the morning as a student and probably you just go take your bath and then you are moving, right?
Okay.
And even upon all that, you see, you know the lectures you have for a particular day. And so once you know them too, okay, I'll go for this lecture this time, and when I come, I'll do this and that and that.
Okay.
You understand? So if you don't actually revise your to-do list for the day, okay, you end up even spending part of the time that you should be using for something important regarding your academics to social media. You understand? And you can also tell yourself that maybe I'll give only 30 minutes to maybe going over my phone for notifications or messages and all that. You understand? And then probably you would actually give feedback to messages that are actually relevant. Sometimes your friends will just come online, and because they're online, they will send voice notes, they will do this, a whole lot of messages. And you if you want to reply to all of them, you end up even wasting more time that you should be using for something weightier. You understand?
Okay.
So to me, I suggest that we should actually plan the day.
All right.
If you make your plans right, if you set some sort of clear plans for yourself for the day, or having some sort of to-do list, you'll be able to know that, no, if I spend this number of hours or minutes, going through my phone or even going through social media, it will actually affect me. And you have to also discipline yourself and stick to maybe a particular minutes that you set for yourself in a day, that, okay, within this time to this time, probably I'll just give myself to going through my phone and replying messages and all that.
Okay, so thank you. So as students, we know we are addicted to this social media. So from what Mr. Nicholas is saying, when you wake up in the morning, just draw a to-do list. Okay, I'll pray, I'll take my bath, I'll go for these lectures, I'll eat, in that order.
Yes.
Okay, so please, honorable listeners, from today onwards, everyone should have a to-do list. You just don't wake up and do everything in an orderly manner. So thank you very much. I think we take the last set of messages, then we go. This is coming from Martin Nana Abuaji. He says, Miss Pearl and Miss Patience, please, you look good. Okay, thank you. This is from Evelyn Nana. I love this. Thank you. This is from Charles Boaten. Good program. Thumbs up. Please, my question is, question again. My question is, how do you prioritize tasks when facing multiple urgent decisions in terms of time management? I think this is related to Madam Ruth's question.
Yes.
And this is from Mommy's Boy Kweku. He says, from Haja Amena, she's enjoyed the program live from Bush Canteen. Thank you. This is from Don Gubidi. He says, Hoto, the owner of who? This is from Patrick Asante. He says, human needs are actually endless. For me, anytime I want to focus on mentally evolving exercises, I intentionally force myself to forget my problems, pretending they do not exist for that time, and then focus on the mental activity. May God help us. Amen. Ooh. This is from Ejako Samuel. He says, wow, really enjoying this program. Keep it up. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. This is from Ekudugu Smaila Facial. He says, wow, really enjoying the program. So as students, how should you multitask the following? Lectures, personal duties, personal studies, assignments, leadership rules, financial deficiency, family problems. So I think he has already answered this question. We have to have a to-do list. This is also from Patrick Asante again. He says, self-discipline is a key to effective time management. One cannot and ever totally ignore social media in this digital information age, where almost everything that will make us relevant in life is channeled towards that direction. Okay, this is from Hoto John, Mauli Young God. Okay, so I think we'll end here. But before we go, please, my co-host would like to take some shout-outs to Madam co-host. Please, any shout-outs?
Oh, actually, okay, thank you. My great shout-out is to the whole science focus crew. You've been doing well. A great shout-out to Mr. Bright Fuga on your educative interaction on our management for this program. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Nicholas, please, any shout-outs?
Okay, a shout out to my friends and colleagues of the Enfield Environmental Science, University of Education, Winneba, and also a shout out to the team of Sita Spicy Meats. In fact, they've actually been very, very helpful as far as students' life is concerned. And just to also say that this time around we have two different varieties of the beef, and we have the mild one because first students used to complain that because of the concentration of the spice in the beef, they are not able to take it. So this time around they've done so well by factoring everybody inside and then bringing us the mild one or the moderate one. So whichever you want, you would actually get some. And we still supply to low price masters at the North Campus and also opposite GCB Bank. You just check in and then get your patch of spicy meat for yourself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. My shout out also goes to all ACES executives. I said, God bless you all. My second shout out goes to Dr. Pumba. This is a special shout out. And my last shout out is going to Queen Gertrude. I say happy birthday in advance. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey into the area of time management for stress management. Effective management is key to reducing stress and improving overall well-being. By prioritizing tasks, setting realistic deadlines, and avoiding distractions, we can manage our time more effectively and reduce stress. Remember, small changes in time management can make a big difference in reducing stress and improving quality of life. Keep exploring, stay curious, and join us next time on Science Focus, where we continue to bring science to life. Theme for the week: take control of your time. Take care of yourself. This has been an exciting episode of Science Focus. This is where our time will permit us to end. Special thanks to our guests, our executive producer, Mr. Collins K. Ewuku, our producer, Mr. Bright Fuga, our patron and patroness of Science Focus, Dr. Stephen Chumisi Anine and Dr. Mrs. Nelly Adjase Chihegan, the HOD and the patroness of the Integrated Science Education Department, Dr. Charles Kwesi Kumsin and Dr. Mrs. Nelly Adjase Chihegan, all the Science Focus crew, all ACES members, and also all lecturers in the Integrated Science Department, and our lovely listeners. Once again, my name is Patience Colley and my co-host, and we have been your hosts for Science Focus. Have a lovely week. Bye. No song.